Hey moms, happy Sunday. It's a beautiful day. We thank God for all of his blessings. Today I'm going to jump right in to showing you how to make a really quick gumbo for half the cost, purchasing most of your items from our friendly neighborhood Costco store. So let's get started. I'm going to show you all the ingredients and then we're going to jump right in. I'm going to try to get this done in about 10 to 15 minutes. Can you believe that? That's right. Seafood, gumbo, half the cost, half the time. Really delicious because we all know these days and times we don't have a lot of time. We don't have a lot of money. We got to get in, get out of the kitchen. This is particularly for those of you who are at home with your kids and you don't have a whole lot of time to do a whole lot of cooking. Okay, so I'm going to jump right into the ingredients. You only need a couple of things to make this really good. And let's start with our nice and tasty gumbo brick. This is by Mima Gumbo Brick. This is what gives you your nice little gumbo flavor, all the roux. You're going to put it in a couple of quarts of water, and that's going to start your gumbo roux along with a nice little pack of this. To me, these two together makes a perfect little gumbo roux. You don't need to really add any additional seasonings unless you want it really peppery hot. This right here is spicy enough. You don't need any more salt. You don't need any more black pepper. You don't need any additional seasonings. These two items right here is enough to get you started. Remember, we're trying to get in and out of the kitchen as fast as possible. Now, what's going to make this really flavorful is your Evergood sausages. Okay, you're going to slice these up nice and tight like that. These give off a lot of flavor. You're going to fry them up in a skillet till they're like not too brown, not too dark. Actually, however you want it, you can chop them up in there, and you're going to dump that in the skillet as well. Now, what's really going to save you some time and some cost are these shrimp. You know, Costco has these shrimp. It's the cilantro and lime shrimp. Now, normally you buy a big old bag of shrimp with either the tail on or the tail off. You got to clean it. Sometimes you have to devein it. You don't want that little line of poop in there. Well, I figured out these shrimp, they come already cleaned. The tail's off, the devein, they've already been deveined, so there's no little poop tail in there. And they have a little flavor to them already. And not only that, the cost is $12. Whereas the bag of shrimp is like what, $20, $22? And believe me, this is a lot of shrimp for half the cost. So there's your savings there. One more savings. This little thing of crab meat, it's like 100% crab meat, super lumpy crab meat. Now, we all know when we make gumbo, the one thing that we want most is the crab. And we don't really have to have the crab in the shell because we're trying to get the crab meat out of the shell anyway. So this little thing right here, which seems small, but it packs a lot of crab meat. So it's $25. Now, if you ever bought crab meat or crab legs from Costco, you know those are like $75 for maybe 3 little crab legs. Now, it goes a long way sometimes depending on how large a pot of gumbo you want, but this right here, don't let the small packaging deceive you. This packs a lot of crab meat. So $25 between the crab and the shrimp and the sausage and the gumbo mix. That's your base of your gumbo right there. Now, I'm going to add a little bit of chicken sausage. You can add whatever kind of sausage you want. I'm going to try for the first time some chicken sausage that I found that I think might add a little flavor. I don't really like chicken in my gumbo, like chicken breasts or chicken legs. I could do without the chicken like that. So I'm going to try the chicken with some sausage. I'm going to chop that up in there. All of this kind of gets fried up, and I'll show you how we prepare it, and we're good to go. So hold tight. Okay, so now what I'm doing, I'm just gonna take the sausage out of the casing to sort of make it easier to cook. I like it to be like more crumbly than cut up in slices. So it's going to be more like ground sausage than like cut up sliced sausage. So I'm just going to take my time and remove all of the casing from the sausage. Okay, so now as you can see, the chicken sausage with the Evergood sausage, it's cooking up really nicely. As I said before, I've cooked this chicken sausage for the first time. I think next time I'll cook the sausage separately because I want to make sure that the chicken sausage is like ground up really nicely before I combine it in with the other sausage. But right now it's cooking up nice and right. Okay, so now we've got our pot of boiling water. We're going to add the Mima's Gumbo brick to, I'm going to say, maybe 2 quarts of boiling water. This is going to get the roux started. We're going to just dump that whole brick in there. I wish you could see that inside that brick there's a nice big bay leaf in there. She's got a lot of seasonings and all the gumbo spices in there. So like I said, you don't need to add any additional seasonings or spices at all. It's pretty spicy, pretty salty. She kind of got it right. I add the gumbo mix to just give it more of a thickness, this right here, because that powder sort of gives it a thicker roux base. When you add it, you can see that it's kind of bubbly in there. Just keep stirring, let it cook down, and it'll dissolve right into the water. So I like to add this gumbo roux. It gives it even a more, I'm going to say, more flavor to the gumbo. So I like to combine the two together, and it makes like the perfect blend of spices for gumbo. You just stir that around until all of the little lumps in there are dissolved. Okay, so now that the sausage is nicely cooked and browned or whatever, I like the way it's crumbled in there. We're going to go ahead and drain the fat off off the sausage because we don't want to add any additional fats into this gumbo. We're trying to keep our weight down. We want to keep our weight together. So we're going to get rid of all the fats. If you want to add the fat in there, you most certainly can. But today I'm going to drain the fat. All right, so we got rid of all the fat. So now we're going to just start pouring in the sausage into the gumbo roux. It's all ready to go. Got this delicious chicken sausage, the hot sausage in here. This is just adding tons and tons and tons of flavor, thickness. It's going to be so, so good. And now for the best part of this recipe, the crab. I don't even know what made me buy this crab. I don't know why I bought it the first time, but once I discovered that I could use it in gumbo, it changed my life. Look at all that delicious, lumpy, chunky crab. Like, you don't have to worry about how to pull out of the crab leg. You're not chopping and cracking and any of that stuff with this jar of crab meat. So it's like half the time, half the cost. Now I do want to say, when you use this, and you, especially for your soups or your gumbos or whatever you want to use it in, don't think you have to chop it up. Normally I just put it into the gumbo roux while the water is boiling and just let it sit and sort of break apart on its own. If you freeze it first, let it, let it defrost first before you add it to the gumbo. Make sure it's defrost, because if you try to chop it up in there, it's just going to be really fine and you won't even see it. Let it sort of break apart loosely on its own. As you can see, I'm just sort of tossing it around to get it all nice and juicy and wet in there. It's already completely defrosted, but you just want it to sort of break apart on its own so that you can you can have a lot of chunks. You want it to be as chunky as possible. So just sort of let it loosen up on its own. All right, I'm going to cover that up and let it cook until it's like, nice and, dissolved in there. It's kind of broken apart. You just want to kind of let it cook on its own. While that's cooking, you're going to now prepare your rice. So you're going to, I don't know, cook a big old pot of rice, however much rice you need for your family. You can make, this right here is about 2 cups of rice. So now you got your gumbo cooking and you've got your rice cooking. Now the last 2 items we have to work with or to add to this recipe are the shrimp and the vegetables. Now, vegetables, this is completely optional. This is up to you if you want to add vegetables or not. We like to add vegetables in our gumbo. My husband loves these vegetables. They're completely mixed vegetables. You got your broccoli, your cauliflower, I see some carrots and squash and snap peas in there. It really does give it a nice boost to this gumbo. I mean, I really like it. And then of course, lastly, we would add the shrimp. All right, let's go ahead. Now that we see everything's boiling, we're gonna add our mixed vegetables in there. And so far we've been cooking for, I don't know, maybe 10-15 minutes already. I think the longest thing that took to cook was the sausage. That's pretty much the only thing we cooked beforehand. So we've added the sausage in there, we've got the crab meat in there, and now we've just added our beautiful mixed vegetables. And you see that it's kind of like a gumbo soup kind of thing, but you see those crabs and you see the vegetables in there. Y'all, this tastes really, really good. If your kids and your family like seafood and a nice, hearty, healthy, hot meal, this is your ticket. Cover it up, let it cook some more, and then we're going to add our shrimp. So now it's cooked for maybe 5 more minutes, and now we're going to go ahead and dump all the shrimp in there. The shrimp is definitely the last thing you want to add, because that to me is just, I mean, it cooks in basically hot water. So that's the last thing we're going to add. And that's it. You're done. You've got your rice cooked. You've got your gumbo made. Your Sunday dinner is done. You are free for the day. You can make this meal, like I said, if once those sausage are done, if you're not adding like cooked chicken, this is a 20-minute meal. You've got your cooked rice, your gumbo. If you want, you can throw some cornbread in the oven, but this is pretty much it. Oh my God.
You're gonna serve this
Okay.
up now?
So y'all seeing this? I'm just gonna serve it up right now with no rice. I just want you to see the goodness of all of this stuff in this gumbo. Like, you can eat it like this. This is how my husband likes to eat it without the rice. He wants the rice on the side. But I mean, look at that. In every spoonful, you got the shrimp, you got the chicken sausage, you got the regular sausage, you got a piece of vegetable in there, and most importantly, you got a whole lot of crab. And then that roux is just perfect. So that's deliciousness, y'all. Now we're gonna taste it. Okay, you guys, so the gumbo is ready. It probably was a little bit more than 20 minutes in the kitchen, but as you can see, it's basically just, prep time, cooking the sausage, and allowing the gumbo to cook. But as far as being in the kitchen all day, slaving over a stove, making a big pot of gumbo, no, we didn't do that at all. So you can see that most of the items was just pretty much, dump and go. The shrimp, actually I wanted to also say that the shrimp, the cilantro and lime shrimp, it comes with a lot of flavor and seasoning on the shrimp. I did rinse that off. I did rinse off that flavoring. I just really want the shrimp because it costs a lot less. It's pretty much prepared. It's almost like, I guess, pre-cooked. I just want to be able to dump it into the gumbo. So I did rinse off all of that juice and cilantro that was on the shrimp. The crab, as you can see, I just dump it in there, let it sort of break apart naturally as it's cooking. The sausage I did cook before. So now I'm going to show you sort of like my little bowl. That's my little bowl. Hope y'all can see that. All the little juices in there. It's very, very hot, but it's very, very good. I want to sample it, but it's so hot. Hold on. I want to get a little bit of everything in the spoon. Can you see that? This is very hot. Mm. 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 But honey, you can't go wrong with all this goodness. It's like seafood. You know that is the crab right there. That right there is crab meat, and I mean the whole point of gumbo is a crab. The Evergood sausage are really hot and spicy, so it does give it that little bit of kick of peppery spice in there. Mm, 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 mm. Very hot. So like I said, you don't even need to add any seasoning. No salt. Really no more pepper because the sausage, the Evergood sausage gives it that pepperiness. So you don't even have to add cayenne pepper or anything in there unless you want it really peppery, really hot. Otherwise, this is a nice Sunday meal. I could prepare some cornbread muffins. You can have it with some, garlic bread or whatever. But bon appetit. Thank you for watching. If you like it, thumbs up. Subscribe. I'm going to try to put more videos on here for just really quick meals that can help moms who are at home with the kids trying to figure out what to cook in a really fast way. Like we don't have a whole lot of time to be in the kitchen all day. So stay tuned. Thank y'all.